Cool.
Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of In the Know with Kat Bobineau. Today, my extra special guest is Julian Herbert, and he is an engagement manager at Deloitte Consulting. So, welcome.
Hi, Kat. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Absolutely. So, could you tell the audience what type of work you do?
Sure. So I am, as you mentioned, I'm at Deloitte. I am an engagement manager there in the technology strategy and architecture practice. And primarily what we do is work with clients big and small and clients meaning large corporations, small corporations, to help them enable their missions and enable their growth targets and things like that through technology. And so we come in, do short-term assessments to long-term projects to help them um, figure out what type of applications, what type of technology would help them manage their goals and drive whatever targets they're trying to hit in next year or 10 years from now.
Okay. So, how did you get into that type of career?
Yeah, so the great thing was just my background in technology and using that as kind of like a pivot point to go in. I also got my MBA in business management. So combining that with my background in technology just made it a natural fit for someone in where we are in consulting right now. We need people with not just that business acumen or not just that technology proficiency. It's a mix of both. And so because you're going into clients and you're helping them say, okay, well, we want to grow at 3 times. Well, to do that, your technology is 10 years old, it's archaic, and you have all these different systems. How are you going to be able to handle that as you sustain and grow?
Mm-hmm.
And so we come in, and you need that both backgrounds to be able to talk tech and then talk business as well.
So you have a background in tech, right?
Correct.
So where did you go to school to get that?
Yes, so I went to Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where I focused in computer science. Did a little bit of business on the side as well, but mostly day-to-day programming and that stuff. So it was fun.
So what's really cool is you went to Southern University, where my brother went, my
Yeah.
sister
Go
went,
Jags.
and my niece is right now
Cool, cool,
at Southern
cool. Now when I go
University.
back to Southern, I will look them up. There we go.
Yeah, so you,
Alumni connection right there. There
yeah,
we
exactly. Like, I
go.
mean, we are in Oakland, California, or San Francisco right now at Bayvac, but my
We
family
still got
went.
the Southern Jag connection. There we go.
Sure do.
All
So
right, go
that just
Jags.
goes to show you how small the world is.
I agree. I agree.
So, you studied computer science or computer tech at Southern University. What made you decide you wanted to do that?
Yeah, I've always been fascinated with innovation and computers. I was fortunate enough for my mom to have a computer when I was young, and so I got a chance to play on computers, learn Excel, typing, all that stuff, and then when she got the internet, albeit it was dial up and took forever, but I learned how to surf the internet and find different things. And growing up in a small town, Louisiana, for me, that was kind of like my escape to like search and figure a lot of different things out. And so when I came to Southern, I was like, okay, I know I want to go in technology, but I don't know where. And so I talked to computer science, I talked to electrical engineering, and I just had a better vibe from the computer science side of, oh, I thought that these applications just worked. I didn't know that people sat behind a computer and actually built them.
Right.
And so I wanted to learn that type of stuff. And that's what ultimately led me to computer science.
So, once you graduated and you did computer science, did you work in that field for a while?
Yeah, so taking that back, I interned at various different places, trying to figure out what I really wanted to do. And the cool thing about a computer science degree, for that matter, is that you get the opportunity. Every company relies on technology, from IT to development to systems administration, all these different things. And so you had your kind of pick of the litter of top companies that you can go into. So I started, unfortunately, during the Great Recession,
Oh.
and so but I was able to start at Texas Instruments in Dallas, Texas, and so
We
worked
just
there.
got so much in common. I lived in Dallas for like
Nice,
eight
nice, nice,
years,
nice,
so
nice.
I know all about TI.
Dallas was my first time in the adult world by myself.
Mine too,
In a big
basically,
city, in a
after
big city.
college.
So worked at TI for about 3.5 years. Initially as a system administrator, really deep dive in technical and stuff like that, and then slowly start realizing how much technology influenced business, and got some advice. You either want to be close to the customers or close to the product. And so I decided to go more closer to the customer side. And so pivoted with my technology degree to more of a business analyst role where I basically translated requirements into that technology speak so that developers can build the products. So was able to kind of slowly start moving more towards up the food chain and making decisions.
Okay, so how was your time at Dallas? I loved living in Dallas, but I know not everyone does. So how did you feel about living there?
Texas is a great place. For a boy from Louisiana, Texas is like the big city.
What part of Louisiana?
So my parents live. So I was born right outside of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in the small town of Port Allen, Louisiana. Go Port Allen. There we go. And then my parents now live probably 30 minutes outside of New Orleans.
Okay.
And so from coming from that to like Dallas, I was like, oh, this is the big city. Didn't know how much rent was. All these different things was going on. But it was so cool that like a lot of my friends are a lot of the top companies in Dallas and was able to kind of build a core network and then also give back a lot because the one thing I can say about people in Dallas, they really care about the community, care about like if they're going to be rooted there, they want the best environment around them. And so got really involved in the Urban League and stuff in Dallas and just giving back from that perspective and actually giving back through technology. I was the technology chair for the Urban League. And so helped them build a new website, get everything automated, all that stuff. And so I gave back in my capacity that I knew, which was cool as well.
Oh, that's really good. So my dad, our family, is from Lake Charles.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah,
nice,
so
nice,
I've
nice.
spent a lot of time in Louisiana myself, but in the small area, you know. But you said your parents now live like 30 minutes out of New Orleans, and you were close to Baton Rouge. Did you spend a lot of time in New Orleans?
I did. We used to go, I used to go a few times for Bayou Classic all the time in New Orleans. And then when I was an adult in college, that 1 hour drive wasn't too bad. So we would make that pretty regularly. And then we would stop at my mom's house on the way back, sleep it off, and wake up and get breakfast and then head back to Southern. So had a good stint to go down and come back, which was great.
Oh, yeah. It sounds good. But I'm pretty sure whatever happens in New Orleans stays in New
It
Orleans.
It does.
Same rules apply there for that.
Exactly.
So what brought you to the Bay Area?
Yeah, so I left TI to go to business school.
Okay.
And went to University of Michigan. When I originally went to Michigan, I thought I was gonna go like Chicago, New York, somewhere like that. But then I'm a Southerner, and the winter hit. And
Yes.
I need to start looking Southern or looking West Coast. And because I was interested in technology, it seemed like a natural fit to move to the Bay Area. And so I ultimately told Deloitte that, hey, I know I can go to the Chicago office, but I want to go to the Bay Area office. And it's been great so far. I really like living out here. And I just see so much opportunity, so many different things going, and it's been a great experience so far.
So how long have you been here?
So I'm entering my third year.
Okay.
I lived a year in San Francisco, so I got that experience, and then now I moved out South Bay. So still Bay Area, but a little bit further south.
Are you like San Jose area?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Yeah. That's a difference, San Francisco to San Jose.
So I made my trek all the way down here, all the way up here to see you.
I appreciate
it. Talk about tech.
That's good. Thank you, because it's raining here today, folks.
Rarely raining.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So
still, I appreciate it. I mean, you're in the Bay.
I am.
Not many people gonna trek out in this rain. These people. And True. I say that with kindness, are not used to this down south rain.
I agree with that.
That is a completely different
I walked
life.
outside, I didn't know it was raining. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Whereas in the south, like Dallas or Houston, you can go outside and it'll be sunny, and then an hour later it'll be a monsoon.
And then it'll be sunny again.
And then it'll be sunny again. It'll be sunny again. Like that one time it happened to me where it was just sunny, and then it was a hailstorm.
It happens, and then
it was a hailstorm.
Your car is messed up.
Broke. Mine, thank God, had dents on the top and the hood, but then the glass broke. But there was a lot of people whose glass, got broken, and I'm just.
And then it passes.
And it passes. It's the South. Like I literally drove home from work. Like, it's a beautiful day. I'm gonna take my dogs out for a walk, and then I start hearing do 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 do, and I look outside, and it's hailing.
was like, okay, I'll wait 45 minutes and see what happens.
Hope my car windows are fine, which they were. So it's crazy.
Nice.
So let's go back to tech. You said you grew up. Your mom got a computer, then she got the internet. I mean, was it just that got you really into tech, or was there any other reasons that, especially like high school or early on in college, that really got your interest in tech?
Yeah, the interesting thing, I was always really good at math, and every time I would, do something good in math and stuff like that, my teachers would always say, "Oh, you're going to be an engineer. You're going to be an engineer." And I really didn't know any engineers or know what that really meant. I was just like, "Oh, okay, cool. That sounds great." So then I latched on to like chemical engineering and forced my family to like think about chemistry sets and all that stuff. But then I took my first class in chemistry in high school, and I was like, "All right." So no more chemistry.
What? No, chemistry's nothing but science and math.
Chemistry was not my my particular calling, but the math part of it was. And so the math part, the physics part, that all kind of spoke to me, and I can do that pretty well. And so culmination of that with high school guidance counselors and stuff like that saying, everybody should go into STEM, technology, all this different stuff, and then how to work a computer, so you should go into computers, but it was like a lot of information with no clear clarity. And so it took actually me going to Southern and talking to people and figuring out what it actually was to say, oh, okay, I thought it was this, but, you guys aren't just sitting here burning CDs and stuff like that, but you're actually building applications and things like that. So that's what kind of led me there. From a career perspective, I had mentors and stuff like that pointed me in the right directions and pushed me a lot harder than I thought I could go. And that really pushed me from a career perspective. But I think the initial kick in the butt was trying to figure it out on my own and then saying, and I have friends who were like, all right, let's just go to major computer science because we play with this stuff all the time. Why not learn about what we play with a lot?
Absolutely. So were you a freshman at Southern talking to people, or were you one of those people in high school who actually went to Southern first before you even got to the school and talked about?
So another shameless plug, I was in the Upper Bound Trio program. Upper Bound was kind of college prep and stuff like that.
Oh, we have Upper Bound out here.
Nice. So it's a great program, and I feel fortunate to have gone through that. And so that gave me an avenue to talk to people without some of the fear of like, it being a professor or anything like that. It's just like, oh, this is the person that teaches us, and they're teaching us, let's say they're teaching us typing or computer literacy and something like that. I just ask, like, what do you use this for? Like, is this a career? Can you make something out of this? And with those conversations, it led to, you should think about computer science. And it ultimately got me there. And then I talked to people when I got to Southern, and I just continued the path.
Well, it was really cool. And, like, what you said earlier, too, is about mentorship. Because that's one thing when I talk to kids is network and mentorship. Like, those are two big things that you need when you're trying to decide what career you want to go to, or you have decided but you're going down the pathway. So how did your mentors like really help you? I know you said they kicked you in the butt, but like what did they say or what did they do to really get you into the field?
Yeah, so one thing for me that I learned pretty quickly was that it is hard to get advice from someone who hasn't done what you think you want to do, right? And so for me, growing up, I didn't have that many people going into the areas that I thought I wanted to go into, and so I just kind of had to figure it out. And then not until I got my first internship, it was at Blue Cross Blue Shield, Louisiana. I was doing like programming and stuff like that, and so the internship almost came to the end. And I talked to my manager, and she was like, "Oh, well, it's only 15-minute drive from here to Southern. If you want like to continue working during the year, you just need to talk to the head of the group, and she can, and see if she likes you and you can stay." So I go in to talk to her, and first time, never met her before, and she's been my mentor since that one moment. And she asked me, her first question was like, "Okay, you did well. Looks like you did well." She's like, "What do you want to do with your life? Like, what are you going to do past this?" And I was like, hopefully get a job here. She's like, "No, absolutely not." She's like, "You need to go push yourself. So when you come back here, I want you to have another internship somewhere else." And then so that let me go try to figure that out. And then I interned at a couple places. I interned at TI. And then she came back and was like, "No, okay, now you're getting complacent at TI. Tell them that you don't want to come this summer. go find somewhere else to go. And go further out. See if you like that. And so she kept pushing me. And she continues to push me to this day. But even having someone like that in a senior leadership position that looked like me, that was, had done stuff in tech and was familiar with some of the struggle, telling me that you can't take the easy route. Just push yourself. The worst thing can happen. She's like, the worst thing can happen. You come back here and we find you somewhere to get you a role, right? So don't worry about that. Just go. And that freedom just helped me so much.
That's really cool.
Helped me grow a lot.
Yeah, to give you that option of like, doesn't matter where you internship and it doesn't matter what you're doing because you have a home here if necessary, but we don't want you here.
Exactly.
Like you gotta go.
That was the nicest way someone kicked me off of something.
Yeah.
Kicked out of.
But it helped you. It was one of
did.
those things that it helped you not be complacent, helped you not be that person who was just like, well, I can work here. I don't have to try harder.
Exactly.
So that's really cool.
And I think the other part about that was that it helped me from a standpoint of just having somewhere to kind of fall back on and like, so, if I was doing TI, I would, and got some great experiences there, and then it pushed me to get some other great experience, and then so when I was really trying to pull all that together, I can pull from so many different places and so many different people and so many different locations, and my small Louisiana town, I was now right outside of DC for one of my internships by myself, didn't really know anybody, but it kind of helped me, it forced me to kind of take care of myself, and a lot of these different things that you learn a lot later, I was forced to kind of learn them on the fly. And so I think learning them a lot earlier would definitely help me in where I am right now.
Okay, that's really cool. So now that you are in the Bay Area, you're working for Deloitte, like you do, you're a manager, engagement management, right? What does that entail, especially with a combination MBA and a combination in computer science?
Yeah, sure. So basically what it is that when we get hired by clients to come in and, whether it's do assessments or help them through acquisitions or divestitures and things like that from a technology perspective, folks like me, engagement managers, come in. We manage, several different work streams. So we have people underneath us that are, managing certain work streams. Let's say it's, we're trying to, stand up this particular application, this other work stream is standing up this application, and they all kind of funnel up to me. And so, in that particular role, you just get a lot of visibility and, from a technology standpoint of what's going on across a business, because you have to really understand it. The interesting thing about consulting is we jump to a lot of different industries. I can be doing a project in the high-tech industry for 2 months. And then for another 6 months, I can be doing a project in the pharmaceuticals industry. And so just having that plethora of experience, the one thing you realize is like technology just spreads across all of those different things. And so for me, it's been great to like learn about technology. It might be the same application, but it's used so differently in different industries, and gain that exposure. And so that's kind of how you grow in Deloitte, and then you continue to move up until ultimately, if you want to be partner, and that's its own little startup, your own business that you're running as well. So,
so you can do that under Deloitte, but it'll be kind of your own.
Yeah. So basically, you go from initially you're very broad in what you do when you first come to Deloitte, and you do a lot of different projects, a lot of different industries. Then you focus a bit more, and as you continue to move up, you continue focusing, and then once you get to basically the highest level within Deloitte, you now have the option to spread back out if you want and focus on the types of industries and the types of clients that you want to chase behind, and start building out that business model and stuff like that. So it is a interesting journey all the way to the top. It takes a while, but that's the model that we have.
Is that what you're interested in?
Actually, it's an interesting question. I think that's the reason why I got into consulting, just to kind of go down that path. But I think the cool thing about tech is that it changes, and so you have to change. And so I'm always, reanalyzing everything every couple of years to say, where am I? Am I learning what I want to learn? Am I doing the type of things that I want to do? And if I'm not to any of those questions, is it because of me or is it because of where I am?
Mm-hmm.
And once I answer that question, then I'll start thinking about, if I should make a change. So I'm almost at that second year mark to start thinking about that a little bit more. And once I do, I'll just give it a holistic look and see where it takes me.
Okay. So if you were to decide maybe you want to take it somewhere else, you think you would stay in the Bay, go back to the South? I know the code was not your forte, so that's probably not.
That is not one of the options.
Yeah.
So below the Mason-Dixon line is where we are. But actually, so I think initially I would try in the Bay, but I think ultimately one of the things that I want to do is bring technology, entrepreneurship, startups, incubators, all these different things to Louisiana and try to grow that a little bit more. I feel like there's a gap between, these high-level roles and positions and high-level companies and then maybe some smaller companies and things like that. But there's nothing really in the middle to help kind of incubate ideation and stuff like that. So I think for me, it'll be learning as much as I can in the Bay and hopefully getting on one of these unicorns and, being able to do that with no pressure.
Right.
But that's always a pipe dream.
Right.
But ultimately is, staying in the Bay, trying to figure it out here. And then, as I progress in my life and career, eventually try to make that transition to where I'm helping kids that grew up the same way I did or family members and things like that, because 99% of my family lives in Louisiana. So still trying to, help out and stuff like that.
Okay. So outside of work and doing tech and doing business, what do you do for fun?
So I love sports.
Okay.
And
Go Raiders.
They squeaked out a win against my Saints, but So I love sports. So a lot of times I'm spending that time with my friends in the area. A bunch of us watching some of the games on Saturdays or Sundays, college and NFL, or basketball now has picked up this week. So sports is pretty big.
So go Warriors.
Again, not the team that I would have mentioned. Go Pels, Spurs, Spurs. You saw what happened the other night.
Anyways,
but no. So sports usually. So I travel a lot, which is a gift and a curse sometimes, which makes me a little bit more, I'll say, lazy on the weekends since I'm gone most of the week. But usually spending that with my wife, and we have a cat, and so we try to make sure the cat is
okay for during vacation. The cat is okay
since I'm gone.
Yeah.
Spending time with my wife and the cat, Netflix and all that stuff.
So
but then we also
try the cat watch Netflix.
We do. The cat is very active in this Netflix game. But we also try to, like, my wife and I go hiking probably once every either weekend or once every other weekend, and just try to get out and explore. Because we're both transplants here, so try to grab some friends and say, let's go out and see what's out here for free.
Is she from Louisiana too?
No, she's from Indianapolis.
Oh, okay.
She went to Spelman, so HBCU across the board.
Because I went to Stillman, so
nice,
HBCU.
Nice.
Okay.
But yeah, so mostly hanging out with her and our cat again, and doing different things there. And then hanging out with my friends with sports and things like that. And then now, as I've kind of gotten, we're trying to figure out where we want to be, start in the volunteerism space. She's picking up with the Urban League more. And then so she's slowly bringing me on to, like, okay, I know you're not here all the time, but let's start getting more active. So that'll be my next step, to really start getting more active in the community now that I think we're going to be in the Bay for a while.
Okay. Well, see, I don't really know much about, like, San Jose area, especially when it comes to hiking. But if y'all wanted to come up here to the East Bay,
we do.
And, I hike.
Okay.
And I'm with 2 hiking groups. So they hike every Saturday.
Wow. Okay.
So shameless plug. You guys can pay me in food because y'all know how I am. Those Cliff Bars are delicious.
We will have snacks in the
bag.
But
I'm talking about the hiking group.
Oh, okay. Okay. Nice.
Cliff Bars, fruit, and water is what I'll take. But heat. So they're hiking every available trail. It's heat.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then we are family. So those are 2 hiking groups that I hike with. That are based out of the East Bay.
Cool.
And they hike every Saturday. And they pick a different trail, different place. So
nice.
That's an option for you.
Definitely.
And then don't know if you've heard of Outdoor Afro.
I have not, actually.
That was started in Oakland too, but it's nationwide.
Okay.
It was a meetup, and now it's just it's a nonprofit. But their main objective is to get Black and brown people outside.
Nice.
So hiking, canoeing, camping, bird watching, bat watching. So
cool. No, let's do it.
Yeah,
we would definitely make sure that's on the list. We're coming. We're coming.
Yeah, come on. I know some, and I see it. Not everyone in the Bay Area is the nicest people, but you have some of us who have Southern backgrounds.
True.
And we will be like, come
Once
on.
Once you get into the groups, you're good to go. So, no, I thank you for the invite. We definitely will check it out.
Absolutely. So, is there anything else you want to share? Any topics you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think, so one of my friends, shout out to Dan Renty. He's doing a lot of work in trying to get K through 12 connected on the internet. So every kid having enough bandwidth connectivity in their schools. And so, and there's been a lot of attention around, just connectivity in the world and what that brings to you. And I think from that standpoint, majoring in a technology degree and having that, the way it's just going to shape the world as we get more and more people online, as we stop doing, going to brick and mortar stores where people are more comfortable with buying it online. It shows up at the door. I never looked at it. I don't care. It's just here. I think having that degree and having that technology discipline, it just makes it so much easier for you to just navigate, because when you come out, you're going to have a pick of the pick of the litter, really, and just say, whatever you want to do, there's a way that technology influences it. Let's just go with it, right? And so I think I appreciate what you're doing and the education here to really help influence and help guide people to STEM. So I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. Now, when you talk about, this is just my opinion, but you talk about, people not going to brick and mortar, ordering online, and which is very, very convenient. I think of the movie WALL-E, and I think of people are not going outside as much, and it's so convenient that people just stop.
That's true.
Being very active and very.
But right now though, technology that type of technology is only available for those that are affluent right now. And so as much as, maybe we use Uber and we use all these different technologies, PayPal, different things like that, there's still a large amount of people in the world, America, wherever, who don't use that because maybe they don't have a credit card and things like that. So from a technology perspective, and to everyone listening here, what are you going to do about it? There's a big group of customers there that you can influence, that you can help make their lives easier, which is ultimately what technology is supposed to do. So I think the question then becomes, how do we help ourselves, and how do we help people with the knowledge that we're getting? And so I guess it's not a question to me, it's a question to your listeners of, get into STEM, what are you going to do about it? Everyone has ideas, if you learn how to do it, then you can just build your ideas, see if it happens, right? So absolutely. But yeah, I think to your point, yes, we are becoming lazy. I bumped into a guy because I was trying to find the address here on my iPhone. So I could have probably walked here. I was like, oh, should I Uber? So I agree with that fact that we are, slowly becoming attached to our devices. But, maybe that'll make it easier to do stuff inside now. I don't know. So maybe you get indoor active.
If you say so.
But if not,
virtual reality. I've seen those games where it's I don't know, it's a circle and you're tethered to it, and you can walk around and whatever, shoot things and do things, but you're not going anywhere. True, you're in this one spot.
You place run. This is our, you're just running in place. You're doing that. That's exercising, right?
I guess,
not
but then
outdoor walking.
I just see that as getting to a point of, oh, I want to go hiking in the redwoods, but I'm gonna be tethered
True.
to this thing,
True.
and so I'm gonna look at this virtual redwoods instead
That's
of
true.
actually
That's true.
being
That's
in the
true.
redwoods.
So to that point, love technology, but get out and be active.
Yes, I love technology. Don't get me wrong. I'm on my phone a lot. You know, I'm on my computer a lot. This is technology, and it helps us to tell the world like our stories
True.
and stuff. So I think technology is wonderful. I just also think people need to be outside.
I agree with that.
And not looking at the phone and bumping into people, but actually.
I will not walking in text. Friends don't let friends walk in text. Right? So I'm done with that.
Oh, you say that, and I feel like when we leave, you go feel like, oh, how do I get back to Bart?
That's true. That's true. But I'll stop. I'll stay still. I'll do it, then I'll go.
All right. So we are about out of time. So last question is, if someone was watching this, especially a young person, and they wanted to get into the type of job that you're doing, what would be your advice to them?
Yeah, I think the first thing I would tell them is, one, just be up on technology. I know that, you know, you play with apps and you look at a lot of different things, but there's so many different, you know, TechCrunch, Mashable, all these different things to understand what's going on and just being abreast of it, because the people that you're going to compete against are abreast of it, right? So you want to be abreast of it. The other thing is, you can teach yourself a lot of these programming languages. You can teach yourself a lot about different technology, Internet of Things, all these different things that are buzzwords. You can teach yourself about in the span of a couple of hours, and enough to know, enough to talk about it. And so I think that those are two. And then I think the third thing is, you know, just not being afraid to, the one thing about consulting, if they want to come into this industry, is it's fast paced. And really the thing that you're judged on is how fast you learn, because you're thrown into a lot of situations where you might not have all the information, but you're going to have to deal with the ambiguity. So, you know, having that desire to learn about things and learn really quickly and take it offline and figure it out is always great. And then, I think lastly, find a mentor. People are so helpful and love to talk about themselves and love to say that they help guide you to a certain point. And, you know, you piggyback off of that. You know, pick their brains, pick their friends' brains, pick their friends' brains, and ultimately until you find the right person that you vibe with and that you can, you know, you have that group of people that you can ask a question to. So I think, you know, finding a mentor, staying up on technology, and then, you know, be working hard and proving that you're a quick learner and quick study and surprising people. It will never do you wrong when trying to get into technology or to get into consulting or really use the best of both worlds.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for coming all the way from the South Bay.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Not a problem. And to my viewers, if you enjoyed the show and you have any questions you want to ask Julian Herbert about doing consulting or technology or business, feel free to send me a message and I will pass it on to him. And so I want to say thank you for joining us this week, and make sure you tune in next week so we learn more about different careers and different people in science, tech, engineering, and math.